Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see all of my team here. Every week we get together on a Thursday and we get to kind of share ideas, feed off of each other's energy, and just really oh mess up, just really connect with each other, because I think every day we get to see each other on Facebook, and we get to work together, but nothing compares to that human connection, and where we're talking and we're asking questions and we get to connect regardless of where we are in the world. We could be dropping off our kid, driving, or we could be sitting in a meeting somewhere, or having our kids back here, and you're like, stop, I'm talking right now, wherever you are, we get to connect for 30 minutes. So really what we want to do today is just kind of welcome you into our world. I think like you said, we're in the social media world a lot, and it's kind of like, okay, so who is FitLatinas? What is this thing? Is it a cult? Is it an organization? What is it? I want to know more about it. And today we're going to go into just the meat and the heart, really, the heart of FitLatinas. So in order to kind of illustrate who we are and what we're about, I'm going to start off with a little story. And I'm going to share a little bit about just my personal story and how I got started with coaching. And then we are going to trail off and have some just personal testimonies and stories from some of our awesome coaches, okay? So first thing, I started off as a coach, let's say going on 5 years now. And I had just graduated from Texas A&M. I actually received my degree in interdisciplinary studies, which is education. It's the fancy way to say education, I don't know why. But I was a bilingual teacher, and I had just started my very first job as a teacher. I was teaching kindergarten. I had 24 4- and 5-year-olds, and it was nuts. I loved it. I loved every second of it. But what I'm trying to get at is that it was a new world for me, a new profession, and I did not have anywhere in my thoughts to be a coach or to do anything with coaching. I grew up pretty chubby. I was always a gordita. And through high school and through college, I had picked up running and I was in sports. But coaching was just not anywhere near to, thinking that I'd be I'm doing what I'm doing now. But I signed up as a coach initially just to support my husband, Ray. And he and I completed Insanity. So right here on this bottom screen, you see my first transformation. I did Insanity, and I had dropped 25 pounds. And so I was feeling pretty good. My confidence was not where I had ever been before. I'd always been very shy, very low self-esteem. And you see this picture, and you wouldn't say, oh, that girl was 100 pounds or 200 pounds overweight. But what I see in that picture is just I was so internally, I was in a complete different mental, spiritual, just everything state of mind. And that's what I see. I see a reflection of a girl that did not really see the value in herself. Not because she was a particular size, but because she hadn't really invested as much as she could in herself, to believe in herself, not for what she brings to the table, but for all the gifts and values that God had placed inside of her. And that's what I see. And so when I became a coach, I say that it was just to support Ray. But I was feeling so good. Internally, something inside of me wanted to help others, but I wasn't confident enough to speak about it. I didn't even want to say. I was too scared to say that I wanted to help people, because I didn't really believe that I could at that time. But I knew I wanted to help others experience the same journey that I had just experienced. The time that you're investing in yourself in the workouts, every time that you feed your body healthy food, you're telling yourself, hey, I'm worth it. I have this value. And I wanted to share it with other people, and specifically my friends and family. So I knew I wanted to do that, but I didn't know what in the world I was going to do with coaching. And one of the things that they ask us as coaches is like, well, what is your why? What drives you to be a coach, you know? And so although I was teaching full time and I was kind of doing this Beachbody thing part time, if I had time, 1 or 2 hours, 3, whatever time I had, I do the coaching thing. And they'd always ask us, what is your why? What is your driving factor that makes you want to be a coach? And, you know, for a long time, it was mostly for financial reasons. I understood the opportunity that coaching could bring into your life. And I had seen amazing stories of people that, you know, that they, where they were when they started coaching and where they were when they really invested time and effort. So for me in the beginning, I thought it was more financial reasons, and not because I wanted, you know, to buy Louis Vuitton and buy a Mercedes, you know, but it was more so to give back to my family. You know, we grew up, we had very humble beginnings, and my mom is a very hard worker. She's been working since she was 8 years old. And up to this day, 65 years old, she gets up, rides Metro for 2 hours, cleans houses, rides Metro 2 hours back. And what I wanted to do, my driving factor at the time was to have the finances to give back. And that's what was driving me. And I recently came back from a trip in Alaska. My husband and I spent 3 months on a mission trip out in Kodiak Island. And, you know, I've done, it was a moment of reflection, and I had not been as just physically, spiritually, mentally challenged. And I say challenge in a positive way, to challenge that pushes you to grow. I hadn't been pushed like that in a long time, and it caused a lot of reflection. And I was asked by one of the Beachbody just kind of trainers. She asked me, like, Stephanie, what is your why? I want you to write it down. And so that's something that I was really contemplating. It's like, well, what is my why? And I was reading this book called The 4 Agreements. Great book. I read it in just a few hours, and I highly recommend it. And it had something in there that just really stood out to me. And it hit me just right deep in the heart. And it really shone a new light as to what my why is as a coach. And I have the quote here with me, and I'm going to show it to you. But before I do, I want to share just a little bit about my background growing up. And again, going back to my mom is a huge driving factor into a lot of things that I do. But growing up, I grew up with an alcoholic father, and he was always 2 dads. He was dad that was under the influence and dad that was sober, right? And it was very few times we got to see dad sober. But he was, when he was under the influence, he was very aggressive, very verbally and physically abusive to my mother. And so what I saw as a kid was beyond the physical and verbal abuse. I saw a woman that struggled to see her value. I saw a woman whose light started to become more and more dim. And I saw that in her eyes. I saw that in her words, in her actions. And she no longer invested in herself or lived for herself. And she poured herself out on us. And that's what a lot of us women do. We live for others, but we forget to invest in ourselves. And so when I was reading this quote, I understood and I got it. I said, this is my passion. This is the drive. This is what God wants me to do right now. And so this is the quote that I have for you. It says, the limit of your self-abuse is exactly the limit that you will tolerate from someone else. If someone abuses you a little more than you abuse yourself, you will probably walk away from that person. But if someone abuses you a little less than you abuse yourself, you will probably stay in a relationship and tolerate it endlessly. And so immediately I flashed back to those moments when I was a kid and I saw all of that physical and verbal abuse and said, wow, how much negative messages of little value did my mom speak to herself? How much did she not see that value? How much did she not really believe that she was a beautiful creation of God, and that she is wonderful and she is beautiful and she is valued? And, you know, if I could turn back time and tell her that, and hold her hand and hold her in my arms and tell her, Mom, this is your value. You are worth it, regardless of these negative messages. And not to say that my dad was a horrible person. You know, it's a disease, and you know, you become this different person. But it did affect my mom in that way. And if I could have been that person to keep on reminding her and feeding those positive message of value, then I would, in a heartbeat. But that's something you can't turn back time. You know, you can't live in the past, but you can think of everything that you can do now. You know, I can invest in myself, because guess what? That's those same eyes that I saw when I was a kid and my mother, I started to see those growing up in the mirror, looking back at me, to see, like, to struggle to see your worth, to struggle to see the value. And I knew that in order to help my mother, I knew that I had to see the value in myself, to see value and worth in myself in order to pour out to her. And not just to pour out to her, but to pour out to each and every person that God puts in my path. And I truly feel that as God ministers us, it ministers to us in different ways. And this is exactly where I am meant to be right now. And my goal is to continue just pouring out and helping each of you invest in yourself to find that value, in order to then turn around and pour out into everybody around you. And that's what we see and we have here with FitLatinas, just women committed to investing in themselves in every aspect of our being. Because we live for three things. We live for the body, we live for the mind, we live for the soul. And when we fail to invest in one of those aspects of our being, then something is missing. And so our ultimate goal is to create a community, create a team in which we encourage each other to continue investing in ourselves, to continue investing in our mind, continue investing in our soul, continue investing in our physical being. You know, not just so that we can fit into, you know, this bathing suit and look good, or, you know, but to truly feel as though, hey, I am living up to every single drop, every single ounce of potential that lies within me, so that I can live up to be that woman that God wants me to be. And not just for me, but for every single person who I come in contact with. To connect with that woman that I see at work every day, that woman that's standing in line at the grocery store that I see every Sunday, to connect and influence my sister, my cousin, my best friend, my mom, my grandmother, everybody. And we know that it's not just women that we are going to influence, but we influence our kids, we influence our husbands. And as women, a lot of us are just, you're the backbone to your family. You're the backbone, you're the glue that just sticks everything together, because that's how we are created. We are created with emotion and with love and with connection. And so that is what I see in our team, and that's what I see in each and every one of the coaches that is in our team. Women that say, hey, we're not perfect, and we don't try to be. We're not trying to hide our imperfections, but we are trying to grow and continuously invest in ourselves so that we are better than we were yesterday. And I am committed to doing that. And it's not always going to be uphill, because where there is growth, there is uncertainty, and there's a little bit of fear, and there's pressure. But that is why we are this team, so that we can say, hey, I'm having a hard time right now. And we feed off of each other, and we continue to hold hands and walk forward. And at the same time that we link hands, we're bringing other women along with us for the journey. So with that being said, I couldn't be more excited than I am now about our team. As you can probably realize and pick up that we are not, to be a Fit Latinas coach, it does not mean that you are a fitness expert. It does not mean that you are a nutritionist or that, you know, you just live to work out, you know. And to be a coach, it means, hey, this is what I'm about, and I commit to working on myself, and I'm gonna help inspire you and do everything in my power to inspire you and motivate you to do this. And that's what we are as Fit Latinas. And I can continue talking about, you know, who we are with Fit Latinas, but who better to explain about their experience as a Fit Latinas coach than our coaches themselves. And so we have a couple of some of our beautiful coaches on the line, and some of them are joining us on video camera after a long time. And so I'd like to kind of open the floor to them. And I have three in particular that have volunteered or have been pressured to, whatever you want to call it, to kind of share with us today. So the very first coach that's going to share with us today is Maria. Maria, I'm going to go ahead and unmute your line, and you can take the floor.
Hi, my beautiful ladies. You know, I remember when I saw Steph and I had seen that Facebook request, and I had kind of like, who's this girl? And I would kind of like, you know, she was I was talking about that with Alma this past weekend. I was like, she just looks so intimidating. She like had it fit, has it together. She's been doing this for years, and like, Maria, come on, get real. But you know, it's I don't know. God has a way of joining and putting the right people in our path, and that's one of the things that I always pray about. You know, I pray about that, and I pray that, you know, for my children, you know, for God to put the right people, you know, in their lives, and to leave those that should not be there. And I have learned so much, and I'm so grateful for this dream that you had, Steph. I mean, because it started with you. It started with the dream that you had, and we're just kind of, you know, coming in along and enjoying this journey together. And it's more about just being women that have, I think I posted earlier, it's more about than just losing a few pounds. You are gaining so much. You're gaining that love, that support, that motivation, that inspiration that sometimes we lack. We lack it because we are so busy with everything else in our lives. And we're so busy of taking care of everybody else that sometimes it's hard to really stop and think, you know, we need to take care of ourselves. And we need to take care of ourselves because we have, in my instance, I have 6 children that I have to take care of. And that's when I started reaching out to Steph. It wasn't about the 21-day fix. It was about Shakeology. I had tried these other products. I had tried all this other stuff, and I wasn't getting anywhere. And I was like, you know what? Let me give her a shot. What do I have to lose? I'm gonna just, you know. And I started messaging her, and you know, she was just great, very down to earth, very friendly, and she kind of like understood what I wanted and what I was going through, which was amazing. And I guess is that we all go through that same thing. And then she encouraged me to do the 21-day fix, and I did it. I done my first challenge. You know, I didn't do so well, but even with just the meal plans itself, I saw a great improvement. I started going challenge after challenge. I started seeing more change. I started seeing physical changes. I started seeing more energy, seeing, you know, that waist coming back, fitting into clothes that I didn't fit, you know, before I had Abigail, which was, I was like in awe. I was like, this stuff really works. And it's, to me, this has become something very special. And it's to the funniest things. I had an origami party, and I went and I got some little things that just kind of represent FitLatinas. I even got to the point where buying like a pink nail polish. to go with my FitLatinas, and it's stuff like that, and it's amazing how you can connect with someone that you've never met in your life. um, and that's the way I feel about you girls. I mean, I love you. Even though I don't know you in face to face, I pray about you guys. I have you in my thoughts, and it was a great blessing to even get to meet Alma for the very first time. That thing to me was like, oh my gosh, I love her so much. And that's just, you start building that relationship, and out of that relationship you start building a family, and that's how I consider FitLatinas. I see us as a family because we're here to help each other out in our journey, maybe to lose a couple of pounds, maybe to kind of get a little bit stronger, or just it has to say, like Steph has it's body, mind, and soul. And I mean, this to me is everything. And when I was leading the crew and kind of following Steph's footsteps, I got kind of excited, and I was like, oh my gosh, now I know why Steph gets all pumped up, when she talks to us in the meetings, or when she's, kind of getting us to create the group and keep us kind of motivated. It's like, it's a wonderful feeling, and it's a feeling that I want to be able to share, and and let everyone know, and let women know that, I mean, we are able to accomplish whatever it is that we set our minds to, may it be in our physical aspect, in our mental aspect, and in our spiritual aspect as well. I've combined all of those together, and it's living healthy spiritually, mentally, and physically. And I mean, I love you guys. I can't say anymore, but to say I love you guys. I mean, you really, truly have won my heart over, every single one of you ladies, and every single one of you that have just joined. It's kind of like, I get all excited. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see their results. And even, we're here along the journey, and I'm here for the support. I'm here to root you on. And I get the same thing from you ladies. You root me on, you cheer me on, you motivate me, you inspire me. I'm just honored to be a part of this movement.
Thank you.
And, you're welcome.
You're right. The first time we got connected, I told Ray, I was like, you gotta see this girl. They have kids. And she's waking up like early in the morning. She's doing her workout. Like, I put my everything down. I said, I have no excuse to miss my workout. She also missed. Yeah, she got a awesome little charm that said FL FitLatinas. I think she probably got a tattoo as well in San Antonio or something. No, Maria, you're awesome, and I love the energy that you continue to bring. I mean, and you're exactly right. It never gets old. I mean, sometimes you're like, Steph, she's just saying that to hype us up. Like, no, I get excited every time. Like, I just never know what type of relationship I'm gonna create. I never know like how much more of your story I'm gonna get to get to know and understand and connect with. And it's just it's exhilarating. I wake up and I shared it in a post a little while ago. Like, I literally wake up before my alarm clock, and I'm like, let's go. My mind races with all these ideas, with all these things. I have like all these to-do lists every day because I wake up and I'm excited. And it's because of, women like you that bring enough all this energy. And by you, I mean all of you guys. Thank you for sharing that, Maria. And we do want to leave more room for more of you to talk, and I keep doing that. But I also had talked to, let's see if you're on there, Alma.
Yes.
A few words with us. Maestra, por favor.
Hello, ladies. Good night. How is everyone? Well, my story is somewhat different. When I first started my journey, I'll be very, very honest. I started for vanity reasons. I wanted to lose that extra weight. I wasn't fitting into my clothes anymore, and that's why I did it. And, but you know, it's really interesting how God really has a plan for each and one of us, because after my after my second challenge, it wasn't so much the fact that I was losing weight and fitting into my clothes. It was more that I was getting to know very powerful women. I was getting to know, being part of a family. And not only that, but I was growing spiritually, like Maria mentioned, and physically and mentally. So all of that just basically made me love being part of this FitLatinas. And after, I believe, my second challenge, I became a coach. And I first did it for the discount. I'll be honest, it was for the discount. But then I started inspiring other women, like my sister and friends. And then I thought, you know, I really like this. I'm enjoying the fact that I'm inspiring other women. I'm making a difference in other women's lives. And that just gives me so much joy and so much pleasure in my heart that I just want to continue doing this the rest of my life. And I'm a teacher, so I think that's just in me. That is who I am. I love giving. And so, you know, I challenge every single one of you to inspire other women and become part of our FitLatinas. I'm blessed to be part of this team. Thank you, Stephanie.
No, thank you so much. And you know, I was talking to Alma earlier, actually, on the phone, and I'm like, I just can't get enough of the connection and the relationship that you and Maria are creating. Like, you girls are too darn cute, and and you know, I got to meet the next coach who I'd like to share before her phone dies. I just got her text message. You know, we got to meet each other for the first time, and we talk and over the phone, and we talk online. But to be able to meet in person, and it kind of feels like a blind date at first, but but when you get together, you're just like, man, BFFs. We've known each other for years, and you know, I love the culture that we're creating here, and it's all thanks to you girls. So before her phone dies, hopefully she's still on here. We have one more coach who I'd like to share, but it's Anne Marie. Anne Marie, are you still there with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go for it, girl.
Well, my story is I met Steph online on Facebook almost a year ago. I had been working out already for a while, and I started doing this again. I wanted to lose the weight. I wanted to look better, but just joining FitLatinas, it's been like a big mental challenge and physical, and Steph just knows how to push you, but like to make you stronger and believe more in yourself. And she's always right. Like, oh my God, I'm always mentally challenged with her, like through these workouts, through our conversations, through the comments. And that's what I love about the group, that it's making me become a better, stronger, and confident person, especially after everything, you know, that I've been through, and I still try to get through every day. But this has been like an amazing support group. Like I told all the girls that I talked to, it's not just about losing weight. We're here to help you, support you, help you go through this, because we've all been through it at least once. And, you know, it's a great support group. We're all here to motivate everyone, and we will be challenged physically and mentally, but it's all for the better, to become stronger, fitter Latinas. And I also, when I joined, I never thought I was going to be doing this at all. I joined, of course, for the discount. I'm like, hey, you know, a little discount's always better than nothing. And now I just love it. I mean, everyone that, you know, asks me questions, hey, you know, how have you been losing weight? How are you doing it? I'm like, you know, I start talking to them about the programs and the group, and it's a very, very great support team that we have.
And, you know, I think every single person in this call, every single coach is smiling inside, because they're like, yep, I said I wasn't going to coach either. I was just interested in Scout. You know?
Yeah.
And it's a natural progression. And I get so psyched when I get a random text message from you guys like, Steph, I was in the grocery store right now, and I just started rambling on about FitLatinas to a stranger. Who am I? You know? and it's a natural progression. Like, it's something that, like I said, I knew I wanted to be a coach just because I I wanted to share this positive experience. And I feel that we all have it in common, that we have a positive experience and we feel amazing, and we start just really embracing the journey, and we can't help it but share with others. So thank you so much for each of you for sharing that. I love you girls. With Anne Marie, she said she gets challenged, and I feel the same way every time that I talk to you. Like I had just helped one person get on Shakeology this month, and Anne Marie said, I'm on a mission to help 3 people this month. I have 3 people, and here I was with just 1 point, and we call them success club points. And I said, you know what? You're gonna reach your goal. I'm gonna reach my goal and double it. And she reached her goal, and I'm like, man, I gotta bust my butt to reach out to some women and add them and really influence them in their lives. And I sent her a screenshot. I said, hey, I reached my goal because you pushed yourself to reach yours, and you motivated me to make sure that I stay on top of things. And that's what I love so much about you guys. It's not just me reaching a certain level, a certain goal. Is about being able to influence each other to be the best that we can be, and to live up to every single goal and challenge that we set for ourselves in order to grow as women, and to just continue stepping out of ourselves. So with that being said, we have about I think it's 4 minutes left. I do want to close it out without being chopped off and cut off in half sentence, which I usually do because I like to ramble a lot. But ladies, I love you so much. Thank you for everything that you continue to bring to the team. Thank you for all the growth that you are bringing. Thank you for your energy. Like I said, I've never been as excited as I am now about our team. I see your growth. I see your goals. And I know that each and every one of you is going to make and is making and is going to continue to make a huge impact in everybody that is around you, whether your friends, your family, your coworkers, and every single person who God puts in your path. I believe in you. And I know that together we're going to continue to accomplish great things. There was a call, and it said, alone we could accomplish so little, but together we could accomplish so much. And I think that is a perfect reflection of who we are. Individually, yeah, we can hit our goals, we could accomplish our dreams, but that's just so little in comparison to what we can do together. And it is so much what we can do. So much energy, so much power, so much positive influence that we can create working together as a team, as a unit, as a community. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for being able to, for showing me your beautiful faces, your smiles, and your voice, and your stories. We join us again next week. We have our team call. We're back to our regular schedule. If you have any questions, post away. And if you were invited on this call, thank you so much for joining us. And everybody have a good night, and we'll see you on Facebook. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks, Steph.
Bye. All right, and I recorded this time. All right, girls. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.